It's always good to see these legends of the sport, and he really qualifies to be spoken about like that as well, Camarelli. Not just a really good boxer, but a terrific sportsman as well. I remember back in London 2012 when he lost that final by a hair's breadth to Anthony Joshua. The way he took it, the way he reacted to it, absolutely top class. And coming into the red corner here, this is Olha Shalimova of Ukraine. Ukraine well represented in these finals today. 6 finalists they've got. That's the second most behind Russia. Now our first Italian finalist, Giovanna Marchese. She got through by split decision in her semi-final against the number 2 seed Rim Benama. Shalimova, for her part, navigated her way past Marta Lopez Del Arbo by another split. That was 4-1, so not quite as close, possibly. You've seen these two. They've been over in Ring A. What have you made of them?
Very skillful indeed. Giovanna Marchese produced a terrific fight back. She was docked a point in the second round of that semi-final against Rim Benama, but still found a wherewithal to get it done. Body punching was a real asset in her armory. And again, Rim Benama, very tall, long, lean opponent. Marchese, anything but very lean. Olha Shalimova, well, she's a very skillful operator. It's a tight split decision that she prevailed on. 3 scorecards of 28-28 in her win over Marta Lopez Del Arbo of Spain. So this one promises to be a skillful contest indeed. And of course, how much inspiration will Marchese take from the fact that she is competing on home soil?
Never to be underestimated. As you said, the 2018 European Youths were in this venue. Shame they can't kind of open one end of it so we can get that breeze flowing through like we had down at Lido de Brito the first 6 days, because that was very, very welcome. It is absolutely sweltering in here, but even hotter for the fighters up there in the ring under those lights. So this is the women's light flyweights final. Olha Shalimova of Ukraine is red, Giovanna Marchese of Italy is blue. And we've got 2 orthodox fighters here, and when you look at them shape up opposite each other physically, they're pretty similar. Feet crossing as she comes forward there, Marchese, but worked her hands. You see that a reasonable amount in AIBA boxing. Fighters can tend to walk in, those feet crossing, the technique going out of the window at times. And when they do it, they'll take their fists with their feet, try and keep their feet under them, so the balance doesn't really go. It's just a little bit of a contravention of the coaching manual, if you like. No one's really landed too much of any significance in the opening 40-50 seconds so far here. Shalimova maybe just with a little bit of a naughty shot there on Marchese, as Marchese had her back to it. Not sure if the referee had called break, and he's having a word with both of them now, to Marchese about responding to his instructions, to Shalimova about holding. Little feint there from Shalimova, just trying to see if she can draw something from Marchese, and again she does there what Marchese did previously. Little stutter steps moving in, trying to throw those short, sharp shots. Marchese managed to prevent any of them really getting through. Neither one of these two has really found their range yet. They're just kind of on the borderline, if you like. Both tried to open up and throw there, but the shots were blocked, and then the 1-2 falls short there for Marchese. Shalimova just spinning around, wrestling her to the floor. Referee will take a fairly dim view of that, but just psychologically that can be a little bit of a blow, just demonstrating a bit of superior physical strength. And Shalimova again there just comes, as I said, with that kind of stutter step style, comes walking in. Either they're just a little bit too far out, both of these two at the minute. They're unable to land with a jab or a right hand with a 1-2. That's because physically they are so similar, or they're kind of rushing together, shutting down the space and not really having any room to work there. And that's why really in this opening round nothing of any note, to be honest, has really landed. And for that reason at the moment it's very, very difficult to separate them. If one of them can get something done in the final 30 seconds here, just a single jab almost, just land a good solid jab, that could be enough to take it, because what the judge is looking for here scoring punches. Left hand there from Shalimova. Again, as she just rushed in there through the left hand, tried to throw the right. There wasn't enough room for the right. But if you employ that tactic, then what you do is you end up right on the shoulder of your opponent. It makes it very difficult for them to counter if they hold their ground, which is what these two have generally done. Final 10 seconds of round one, and by virtue of that little bit of work towards the end of the round, and just looking slightly more like she's the boss, I'd probably go Shalimova, but not much happened, did it?
But the one significant thing that did happen in terms of action is what you described. I thought it was Shalimova who did enough to take that round. We'll bring you the official live scores just as soon as they're available. But it was a very untidy 3 minutes. Neither boxer really finding their range despite their best efforts to do so. And because they were committing at the same time as we see some of the action, this is the majority of what we saw throughout the opening 3 minutes. Grappling, tangling, mauling on the inside. Of course, that is a part of boxing, but over that first 3 minutes that we just witnessed, it formed the majority of the action. So not the most aesthetically pleasing spectacle, nothing wrong with the competitive spirit of these two. I thought Shalimova, the woman in red, did enough to take it because of that left hook, right hand top combination right there, but the judges see it differently. All 5 of them scoring for Giovanni Marchese.
Well, very little in that opening round, very, very little indeed. Scoring judges at ringside have got a slightly better view than us. We're just back from ringside a little bit for these finals. Looking for a right hand there, Marchese, who just locks on the inside there. Shalimova does the same kind of thing, spins her opponent and looks to just show her who's the physically stronger of the two. Marchese comes rushing in. Shalimova just managed to take a little half step back there and put in a sneaky little left hand, and neither one of these two yet has really demonstrated the ability when their opponent rushes in to just step off to the side, take that little half step back, roll and pull their feet right back out and give themselves a chance to counter that kind of rushing technique. Messi up on the ropes on the right hand side, a minute into round 2. Again, not long there before Shalimova just looks to try and commit Marchese right on top of her, pushing off into the ropes, maybe using the heel of the glove a touch there. The referee gets him back into the centre of the ring. Haven't really seen either of these two use a jab in this fight yet. Looks for the 1-2 there, Marchese, but was well short again, just kept travelling forward. But at no point really have we seen anyone just snap out the jab. And as I said, physically they are very similar, height-wise, reach-wise. If either one of these two really use that jab, then they could pick their opponent off with it, because there wouldn't be one coming back in the opposite direction. Again, things get quite untidy on the inside there, heading up towards the final minute of round 2, and once again there is very, very little to try and split these two. Shalimova did a decent enough job there, coming forward, got a couple of shots in. I think one might have landed cleanly. Marchese looking a little bit unhappy there, looking at the referee as Shalimova just looked to, well, a point has gone there. A point has gone there from Italy. And that, in a 3-round fight, is always a significant blow. She did win that first round, though, remember, and we don't know which way the judges are going with their scoring for this round. If it turns out to be a Shalimova round with the point off, then that would turn things around completely. We'll have to wait and see on that score. 30 seconds still remaining in the round. Little left hand on the inside there from the Russian. You could just see the head snap back a bit. Marchese's beginning to look a bit unhappy in there. She's looking at the referee a few times, grimacing a little bit, just having the odd complaint, which is never a good sign. Shalimova with a nice 1-2, and then just stepped off to the side. We haven't seen too much of that, but that was good boxing. Landed a lead right hand, left hand, then stepped off to the side, and she was nowhere to be seen. So this is a good finish to the round for the Russian, given the way that she acquitted herself with her own boxing, and also with the point off. Points off can be bad news, can't they, Ron?
Certainly can, as we saw a brief look at the contingents who are up in the stands, creating the atmosphere that we have at this Pala Majetti indoor venue. But as you were pointing out, that point off, well, depending on how the round is scored, what we can say is that even if she were judged to have won the round, Marchese can score no more than 9. Now, I happen to think she conceded that round because there were the body shot got through, a left hook got through, and there's confirmation. So Shalimova taking it 4-1. You take that point into account, that is effectively a 10-8 round. So going into the final round, how do we have the scores? Shalimova leading 19 points to 18 for 4 of the 5 scoring judges. Remember, I said that Marchese was doctor point in her semi-final. She's been doctor point in round 2 again here for infringements of the rules.
You cannot afford to do it. You just cannot afford to do it. But this is all still very much up for grabs. That 1 point advantage for Shalimova going into the final round, and a 1 point advantage on the other remaining card for Marchese. So she needs to turn this around. She needs to win this round with enough of those judges to get it going her way. And the coaches, the corners, they get the scores. They get the scores right at the start of the minutes break too, so they can tailor their advice to their fighter accordingly if indeed they decide to communicate exactly what the score is. Sometimes you can see that they have, sometimes you can see that they haven't. It's kind of an interesting decision they have to make sometimes, particularly early in a fight. If a fighter's had a good first round but haven't won it, then they don't want to disturb them too much. But before the start of a third and final round like this, they will tell them, they will know. Marchese 100% knows that she needs to go out and win this final round. Just over a minute into it. Right hand there from Shalimova. I think a shoelace has come undone, has it? Maybe a bootlace, it has indeed. Marchese was quick to get over there. She knows that she needs to really, really work hard in this third and final round. She just was a little bit negative in that second round towards the second half of it. Slightly despondent at times, and you can't afford that in the course of these 9 minutes. You've got to be right on it all the way through. And Shalimova just getting hold of her, wrestling with her. A bit of blood coming from the end of the nose there of Marchese. Don't know if that was a punch or maybe heads cracking together. Could well have been heads. They were very close to coming together again there as well, and Marchese just being roughhoused a little bit there by Shalimova as we tick up towards the final minute. Nice left hand there from Shalimova, who just over the course of the fight, for me, not often, well, she eats the right hand there, Shalimova, as I say that. Not all that often, but more than Marchese, she's just managed to back up a little bit, give herself a bit of room to work, and has landed a few more effective shots doing that. But again, they just clash there like a couple of balls just running at each other, meeting in the centre of the ring. Deep into the final minute of round 3. Just a reminder of how those scores stand currently through 2 rounds. Shalimova with a 19 points to 18 lead with 4 judges. Marchese with a 19 points to 18 lead with the other one. So she's got more to do in this final round. Into the last 30 seconds, she's absolutely given it everything here. Shalimova with a decent looking right hand there, though I would say is taking this final round so far. All 3 rounds have been close. We've got the point deduction, but you score the round regardless of that. All 3 rounds have been close. But heading into the last few seconds here, I think Shalimova's done enough in this final round and therefore done enough overall. Marchese for the last 30 seconds or so, it's been quite strange from her. She kind of backed off and disengaged really, which was slightly odd. I just think on balance there, Ron, really, slight difference in skill, if you like, because as I described, Shalimova just made a little bit more room for her punches. But I think physically she just dominated the Italian.
I would tend to agree with that. It was a very physical contest. The styles not really gelling to allow either of these skillful boxers to demonstrate their best talents. Remember, Shalimova, 2017 World Youth Quarter finalist and under-22 National Championship gold medalist, very clever boxer. Marchese took under-22 bronze at 51 kilograms in 2019. It's going to be a silver this time for my money. Let's get the official verdict at the conclusion of that contest. Could well be split, this one. Nervous moments for the boxers before the announcement.
For a split decision, the
Well, Giovanni Marchese has been given the final round, and look at that. So let's go. We've gone to the realm of countback. 3 scores tied at 28-28 because 2 of the judges scored that third round for Marchese, which isn't what I saw from our commentary position. And when you have countback, you see that exclamation mark means that the 3 judges who had it tied, in their opinion, Marchese was the better boxer. And it's Marchese who comes away with championship gold. And I feel that Shalimova is very, very unfortunate there, because I don't see really what Marchese